Hey, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating blueprint for tackling one of the biggest societal shifts of our time, mass migration. But what you're going to see isn't just about aid or charity. It's about building a completely self-sustaining ecosystem for a new kind of community. All right, let's get into it. So it all kicks off with this number, 2.65 million. As of 2024, that's how many foreign residents are living in South Korea. Now, get this. That's over 5% of the entire country's population. In a really short span of time, South Korea has become a multicultural society, and that massive, rapid change, well, that's the backdrop for this whole story. You know, the people behind this new model, they don't see this shift as a problem or a crisis. They look at it through this very specific lens. The mission field has come home, and that one idea, it just completely flips the script. It reframes the entire situation from a problem that needs to be managed to a massive opportunity, one that needs a totally new way of thinking. So that's really our first section, the spark. It's all about recognizing this new reality, this idea that the old ways of doing things just aren't going to cut it anymore, and that a bold new vision is needed. This is the fundamental why behind the whole Legiumin platform, and it all starts with that mindset shift we just talked about. Okay, so if that was the why, then what did they actually build? Well, that brings us to our second section, the blueprint. And the core idea here is kind of revolutionary in how simple it is. Build an ecosystem, not another traditional top-down organization. It's a really elegant solution for coordinating help and resources, so let's dig into the what of how it all works. So the whole design is built on what's called a hub-and-spoke model. The easiest way to think about it is like this. The central hub is basically the air traffic control system for social good. It manages all the complex stuff, getting resources, coordinating with experts, developing programs, and it does all that so the spokes out on the ground can just focus on what they do best, building real relationships and providing that direct, personal care. And you can really see that division of labor right here. The hub handles the big picture logistics, right? Integrating resources, connecting with the government. Meanwhile, the spokes, which are local community churches, they provide the people, the space, and that crucial sense of belonging. The key here is that this isn't a hierarchy. It's not top-down. It's a horizontal partnership where each side gets to do what it's amazing at, which makes everything way more efficient. Now, what's so powerful about this is that the platform services, they're not just a random checklist of good deeds. They actually form a structured pathway, a whole journey. It literally follows an immigrant's entire life cycle, from the absolute basics of arrival to getting stable with a job to finding community, and then finally to really growing as a leader. It's a complete long-term vision for a person's life in a new country. Okay, so we've got the why and we've got the what. But the million-dollar question is always, how does it all run? I mean, how do you pay for all of this? And that brings us to section 3, the engine. This is where the mission meets a really sustainable business model. And honestly, this is the most innovative part of the entire blueprint. This quote from Pastor Jang Dek-gun, one of the visionaries here, just gets right to the heart of it. The entire strategy is grounded not in handouts, but in the dignity and the stability that can only come from meaningful work. It all starts with jobs. That's the foundation. And the strategy to create those jobs is called business as mission, or BAM for short. The key idea is using actual, sustainable, profitable businesses to achieve the platform's social goals. What this does is create a self-sufficient ecosystem that generates its own funding, instead of having to constantly rely on donations from the outside. It's a total game changer. And check out these two fantastic, concrete examples of how it works. First, you've got Legiumin Care and Logistics. This is a social franchise that provides home services, which is so smart because it taps right into a huge market need in South Korea's aging population. And second, there's Global Kitchen. This is a franchise that leverages the amazing cooking skills that immigrants bring from all over the world. So both of these create dignified jobs, and they generate revenue that gets poured right back into fueling the entire platform. Look, a brilliant system and a clever financial model, that's one thing. But systems are just wires and rules, right? What is it that makes it all come alive? Well, that brings us to section 4, the heart. Because beyond all the structure, this is a story about human connection, the one thing that no system can ever replace. At the very, very core of this human-centered approach is something they call the 18-Country Sisterhood Initiative. It's designed to fight the #1 enemy of any newcomer in a foreign country, loneliness and isolation. It's a program built not on providing services, but on building genuine friendships. And how it works is it's beautifully simple. A local family gets paired up with an immigrant family, and they just commit to doing normal life together, sharing a meal once a month, inviting them over for the holidays, maybe helping out with some tricky government paperwork. But pay attention to that last point. The goal is mutual transformation. This is not about one-way charity. It's about two families genuinely enriching each other's lives, and in the process, breaking down prejudice on both sides. And of course, if your main goal is relationships, you have to measure success differently. You stop counting things like how many people showed up to an event. Instead, you start measuring the real human impact. Did we actually reduce social isolation for immigrants? Did we see a genuine increase in cross-cultural understanding for the local families? Success isn't just a number, it's the depth of that connection. So, what's the long-term vision here? What's the big payoff? Well, the vision was way beyond just helping immigrants fit into Korea. The ambition is so much bigger. And that brings us to our final section, the payoff, and how this local model is actually designed to create a global ripple effect. They've designed this incredible 3-stage talent pipeline. It actually starts before an immigrant even leaves their home country, with pre-departure training. Then, in Korea, they get jobs, skills, and real leadership development. And then the final step is redeployment. The platform actively helps them return to their home countries with capital and skills to start their own businesses and their own community projects. So the ultimate goal of this entire platform is this transformation right here. It's about taking an individual who arrives as an immigrant worker and empowering them to return home as a global change agent, totally equipped to build up their own community. The impact doesn't just stop at Korea's borders. It's designed to ripple out all across the world. And this final quote, it just seems to capture the whole spirit of the project, doesn't it? It suggests that when you're facing such a massive opportunity, the time for just talking about it is over. It's a powerful and urgent call to action. So where does all of this leave us? The Legiumin platform is a blueprint for one specific country, but its core principles, this idea of ecosystems, of sustainable business, of mutual transformation, they feel universal. And it really makes you wonder, right? As our world gets more and more interconnected, what is the future of community-led integration? This model might just be a glimpse of the answer.